If you're an empath who's gone quiet, people might say you've built walls. They might say you're cold now, guarded, not the person you used to be. And maybe part of you wonders if they're right. But what if I told you that emotional detachment for an empath isn't about becoming hard? It's about finally stopping the hemorrhage. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through what's actually happening inside your system when you detach, not as a failure, not as a breakdown, as a recalibration. And here are 2 promises, so you stay with me. First, I'm going to explain why detachment can feel like relief and grief at the same time, and why that contradiction makes perfect sense. Second, near the end, I'll give you one question that will tell you whether your detachment is protection or whether it's become a prison. But before we go there, let's start with what detachment actually is for an empath. Because it's not what people think. Emotional detachment doesn't start with a decision. It starts with exhaustion. For months, maybe years, your nervous system has been doing something most people's systems don't have to do. It's been regulating not just your emotions, but everyone else's. You absorbed your mother's anxiety so she could function. You managed your friends' chaos so they didn't spiral. You carried your partner's unspoken pain so they didn't have to name it. And your body kept score. Every time you felt someone's mood shift and adjusted yourself accordingly. Every time you sensed tension and rushed to smooth it. Every time you gave more than you had because someone needed you to. Your system logged it. And then one day, something shifts. Not dramatically, quietly. You stop reaching out first. You stop checking in. You stop offering yourself as the emotional landing pad. And people notice. They say you've changed. But here's what they don't see. Your nervous system finally hit a threshold. When an empath detaches, it's not an emotional choice, it's a physiological boundary. Your body is saying, I cannot process one more feeling that isn't mine. Let me give you the internal sequence. First, there's emotional saturation. Imagine a sponge that's been absorbing water for years. At some point, it can't take in anymore. It's not that the sponge is broken, it's that it's full. When you detach, your system is wringing itself out. It's creating space that hasn't existed in a long time. Second, there's nervous system withdrawal. Your body starts pulling energy away from external monitoring and redirecting it inward. You stop scanning rooms. You stop reading micro-expressions. You stop asking yourself, what does this person need from me right now? And here's the part that might surprise you. This can feel like numbness, not because you've stopped feeling, because you've stopped over-feeling. Quick check-in. When you think about someone you used to feel everything for and now you feel less, does that feel like loss? Or does it feel like your chest can finally expand? Both answers are true. Here's what makes detachment so confusing for empaths. You're not just letting go of people. You're letting go of a version of yourself. The version who believed that if you just gave enough, understood enough, stayed soft enough, people would handle you with care. And when that belief dies, something in you grieves. You grieve the friendships where you were the unpaid therapist. You grieve the relationships where your sensitivity was called too much. You grieve the younger version of you who thought love meant erasing your own needs. But underneath the grief, there's something else, relief. Relief that you don't have to perform empathy anymore. Relief that you can sit in silence without guilt. Relief that you're no longer responsible for everyone's emotional weather. And this is where people misunderstand you. They see the detachment and think you've gone cold, but you haven't, you've just stopped leaking. When an empath detaches, the body begins a process I call emotional recalibration. It's relearning what your energy is for. For so long, your sensitivity was deployed outward, toward others, toward their pain, their moods, their unspoken needs. Now your system is asking a different question. What do I need? And at first, you might not know how to answer, because you've spent so long attuned to everyone else that your own signals feel faint, unfamiliar. So you start small. You notice that certain people make your body tense, and you stop forcing yourself to see them. You notice that certain conversations drain you, and you let them fade. You notice that being alone doesn't feel like loneliness anymore. It feels like coming home. This isn't numbness, this is discernment. Your system is finally distinguishing between what's yours and what isn't. Between connection that nourishes and connection that depletes. Between relationships that respect your boundaries and relationships that treat them like suggestions. Now here's the question I promised you. The one that tells you whether your detachment is healthy or whether it's gone too far. Can you still feel joy? Not for other people, for yourself. If you can watch something beautiful and feel warmth, if you can laugh without performing, if you can be moved by music, by nature, by a moment of quiet kindness, then your detachment isn't shut down, it's protection. But if everything feels flat, if you can't remember the last time you felt light, if you've detached so completely that even safe people can't reach you, then your nervous system might have overcorrected. And that's okay. It doesn't mean you're broken. It means you might need support to find the middle ground between hemorrhaging and shutting down entirely. If you're in a season of detachment right now, I want you to hear this clearly. You're not becoming cruel. You're becoming boundaried. You're not losing your empathy. You're learning to direct it toward people who don't punish you for having it. And the people who say you've changed, they're right, you have. You've stopped betraying yourself to keep others comfortable. You've stopped confusing depletion with devotion. You've stopped giving from an empty reserve because someone expected it. That's not coldness, that's self-preservation. So if you've detached, don't rush to reconnect. Don't shame yourself back into old patterns. Instead, try this. Respect what your body is doing. It's not running away. It's running towards something it's never had before. Rest. And when you're ready, very gently, you can let people in again. Not the ones who drained you. The ones who meet you where you are. The ones who don't need you to be endlessly available to prove you care. Because real connection for an empath isn't constant. It's spacious. It feels like you can finally breathe. And when you find that, you'll realize something that changes everything. You didn't lose your empathy. You just stopped giving it to people who couldn't hold it with care.